Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English in Moments, your personal space to learn English effortlessly. Whether you're unwinding after a long day, relaxing, or just taking a moment for yourself, this is where real English comes alive for your daily conversations. No pressure, no stress, just natural learning. I'm Elena, and in today's episode, we're diving deep into a collection of essential, everyday English phrases that you can start using right away. We'll explore the meaning of each phrase, provide clear, practical examples of how to use them, and help you integrate them seamlessly into your own speaking. So, settle in, get ready, and let's unlock the power of these phrases to make your English truly shine. Understanding everyday phrases. When you're speaking English, knowing common phrases is just as important as knowing individual words. These ready made expressions help your English sound smooth and authentic, almost like you're not even thinking about what you're saying. Once you start learning and using these, you'll hear them everywhere and you'll find them naturally coming into your own speech. So, let's explore some of the most versatile ones. You can say that again. Let's begin with a great phrase to show agreement. You can say that again. This isn't actually asking someone to repeat themselves. Instead, it's a very enthusiastic way to say, "That's absolutely true," or "I completely agree with you." You use it when you hear something that you feel is very accurate or a really good point. For instance, if someone says, "It's really hot today," you could reply, "You can say that again. I'm melting." Or if someone remarks, "Learning English takes a lot of practice," you might respond, "You can say that again." It's all about consistency. It's a casual and lively way to show you're totally on board with what's been said. Don't sweat it. Next up, a friendly and casual phrase, "Don't sweat it." This simply means don't worry about it or don't get stressed about it. You use it to tell someone not to worry, especially if it's a small problem. It's a way to reassure someone to relax and not to overthink things that aren't a big deal. For example, if someone apologizes for being a few minutes late, you might say, "Oh, don't sweat it. You're perfectly on time." Or if you accidentally spill a little water, a friend might say, "Don't sweat it. It's just water. It'll dry." It's a really great phrase for everyday reassurance, immediately easing any tension. Long story short. Our next phrase is incredibly useful for summarizing long story short. This is a super handy phrase we use when we want to explain a long story or a detailed situation very briefly, getting straight to the main point or the conclusion. It's like saying, "to make a long story short," or "in a nutshell." You use it when you have a lot of details or events that led up to something, but you just want to share the main outcome or key information quickly. For example, you might say, "I had a lot of trouble getting to the airport, but long story short, I made my flight just in time." Or, "I spent hours trying to fix my computer, but long story short, I ended up having to buy a new one." It's a great way to save time and get right to the point in a conversation. See eye to eye. Let's talk about agreement with our next phrase, see eye to eye. This means to agree with someone or to have the same opinion about something. If two people see eye to eye, they share the same views and understanding. Well, it's about being in complete agreement or having a shared perspective on a topic. For instance, you might say, "My brother and I rarely see eye to eye on politics," meaning they usually disagree. Or, luckily, the whole team sees eye to eye on the new project direction so we can start working immediately. It's a clear way to express whether there's agreement or disagreement. The pros and cons next up, the pros and cons. This is a very common phrase we use when we're talking about the advantages and disadvantages of something. The pros are the good points and the cons are the bad points. You use this phrase when you are analyzing a situation, a decision, or an idea, and you want to consider all the positive and negative aspects. So, if you're thinking about buying a new car, you should weigh the pros and cons of each model before deciding. Or, before starting a new business, it's important to consider all the pros and cons very carefully. It's a very practical phrase for decision making and discussions. Keep me posted. Our next phrase is really common for updates. Keep me posted. This is a very common and useful phrase that means keep me updated or inform me regularly about the situation or progress. It's about asking someone to continue sharing news or developments with you. You use it when you're interested in the outcome of a situation and want to know what happens next. For example, if you're waiting to hear back about a job application, you might tell a friend, keep her posted on any news. Or they're still discussing the new project. Our manager asked us to keep him posted on any decisions. It's a simple way to ask for ongoing updates. It's not rocket science next. We have it's not rocket science. This is a common phrase we use to say that something is not very difficult or complicated to understand or do. It means it's much simpler than it might appear. It's a way of saying, this isn't as hard as it looks, or anyone can understand this. You use it to emphasize that something is straightforward, even if someone is making it sound complex. For example, learning to ride a bicycle for the first time might seem tricky, but really, it's not rocket science once you get the hang of it. Or, following these simple instructions for cooking dinner, it's not rocket science. Anyone can do it. It's a reassuring phrase telling someone not to overthink things. You live and learn. Our next phrase is you live and learn. This is a phrase you say when you've made a mistake or experienced something new, and you've gained new knowledge or understanding from it. It acknowledges that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. It implies that you've learned a valuable lesson from an experience, often one that was unexpected or a bit difficult. So it's about realizing something new after an experience, sometimes after doing something wrong. For instance, I tried to fix the computer myself, but I made it worse. Well, you live and learn. Or, I thought I knew everything about that topic, but after today's lesson, you live and learn. There's so much more to know. Go with the flow. Next, let's talk about go with the flow. This phrase is all about being flexible and easygoing. It means to relax and adapt to whatever happens instead of trying to control everything or resist changes. It's about being flexible and accepting things as they come. So, if your plans change unexpectedly, instead of getting stressed, you just go with the flow and make the best of the new situation. If your friends suggest a different activity, you could just say, oh, I don't really mind. I'll just go with the flow. This shows you're easygoing and adaptable. Make ends meet. Our next phrase describes a financial situation. Make ends meet. This phrase means to earn just enough money to cover your basic living expenses without going into debt. It's about having just enough to survive financially. So it often implies a financial struggle or at least a situation where money is tight. You use it when someone is talking about managing their finances carefully to cover rent, food, bills, and other necessities. For example, it's hard for many families to make ends meet with the rising cost of living. Or, after losing her job, she struggled to make ends meet until she found a new one. It's a common phrase in conversations about budgeting and financial challenges. On the tip of my tongue. Finally, for today, a very relatable phrase, on the tip of my tongue. This perfectly describes that feeling when you know something, like a word or a name, but you just can't remember it at that exact moment. It means you're almost able to recall it, but it's just out of reach, right there, almost ready to be said. It's so frustrating when that happens. You feel like you know it, but it just won't come out. For example, I know his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't remember it. Or, I'm trying to remember that movie I watched last week. The title is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite get it. Don't get me wrong. Let's move on to don't get me wrong. This is a very important phrase we use when we want to make sure someone doesn't misunderstand what we're saying, especially if our previous statement might sound negative or critical. It's a way to clarify your intention and prevent misinterpretation. You're essentially saying, "This is what I mean. Please don't think I mean something else." So if you say something that might sound bad, you follow it with "don't get me wrong" to explain your true, more positive or neutral meaning. For instance, I think his idea is a bit complicated. Don't get me wrong, it's a very creative idea, but maybe not practical for us. Here, you're clarifying. You're not saying the idea is bad, just complicated. Or, I don't really like crowded places. Don't get me wrong, I love meeting new people, but I prefer smaller groups. It's a great phrase for being tactful and precise in your English communication. What's the catch? Next phrase, what's the catch? This is a phrase you use when something seems too good to be true and you suspect there might be a hidden problem, condition, or trick. It implies suspicion or caution. When an offer sounds incredibly easy or beneficial, you automatically wonder if there's a hidden disadvantage. So, if someone offers you a free vacation, you might think, wow, this sounds amazing, but what's the catch? You're looking for the hidden cost or the tricky part. Or if a new product promises incredible results with no effort, you might ask, what's the catch? It's about looking for the fine print, the part that isn't immediately obvious. For example, I found a new English course online and it's completely free and it promises fluency in 1 month. That sounds amazing, but what's the catch? Is it really that simple? Jump to conclusions. Our next phrase is jump to conclusions. This phrase means to make a decision or judgment about something quickly without having all the facts or enough information. It's about assuming something is true too soon. So, it's like quickly deciding something without thinking it through properly or waiting for all the details. You use it when someone forms an opinion or makes a judgment too fast, often incorrectly because they haven't considered everything. For example, don't jump to conclusions just because he didn't call you back. Maybe his phone battery died. Or she saw them talking and immediately jumped to conclusions that they were planning something against her when they were just discussing work. It's a warning against making quick, uninformed judgments. Get your act together. Next, get your act together. This is a phrase you use to tell someone, or yourself, to start behaving in a more organized, responsible, or effective way. It means to improve your behavior or situation. So it's like saying, stop being disorganized or lazy and start being serious and effective. Use it when someone is not performing well or is being messy or irresponsible and they need to improve. It's often used as advice or a firm suggestion. For example, if you want to pass your exams, you really need to get your act together and start studying seriously. Or, the team lost several games in a row. They need to get their act together if they want to win the championship. It's a direct way to tell someone to sort things out. It's a tough call. Let's discuss. It's a tough call. This phrase means that a decision is difficult to make because both options or sides have strong arguments, or there are significant pros and cons for each. So it's about a difficult choice where there's no clear, easy answer. You use it when you're faced with a problem, and it's hard to decide which path to take. For example, both candidates for the job are excellent. It's a really tough call to decide who to hire. Or, should I go to the party or stay home and study? It's a tough call because I want to do both. It expresses that you're in a tricky situation and the decision isn't obvious. Out of the blue. Our next phrase is out of the blue. This phrase perfectly describes something that happens unexpectedly or suddenly without any warning. It's like something just appears without any prior indication. So, it's about a surprise event or a sudden occurrence. It means something happened without any previous signs or hints. It's like a sudden surprise that comes from nowhere. For example, if your old friend from high school calls you after many years, you could say, "He called me completely out of the blue." Or, "The company announced big changes to our project out of the blue. Nobody was expecting it." For instance, I received a job offer from my dream company today. Wow, that's amazing. That came totally out of the blue. Congratulations. On second thought. Okay, next phrase is on second thought. This is a phrase we use when we've changed our mind about something we just said or considered. It indicates a slight shift in our decision or opinion. It's like saying, wait a minute, I've had another idea. Or, actually, maybe not. It introduces a revised thought or a new perspective after the initial one. For example, you might first say, I'll have a coffee. And then on second thought, you might add, actually, I think I'll have tea instead. Clear the air. Next, we have clear the air. This phrase means to resolve a disagreement or misunderstanding with someone by talking about it openly and honestly. It's about getting rid of bad feelings or tension in a relationship. It's like when there's a cloudy atmosphere between people and you want to make it sunny again. You use it when there's some tension or an unresolved issue that needs to be discussed so everyone can feel better. For example, Sarah and Jessica had a disagreement, but they decided to meet up and clear the air so they could be friends again. Or there was a lot of gossip at work, so the manager called a meeting to clear the air and address everyone's concerns. Read you loud and clear. Our next phrase is read you loud and clear. This phrase means I understand you perfectly, or I've heard and understood your message very clearly. So it's a strong way to confirm understanding. You use it when someone has explained something important and you want to assure them you've got the message completely. For example, if your boss gives you very detailed instructions, you could say, "Okay, I read you loud and clear. I'll get it done." Or, "My friend told me not to be late for the meeting, and I said, 'Don't worry, I read you loud and clear.'" Get your foot in the door. Next, we have get your foot in the door. This phrase means getting a small chance that could lead to something bigger, like applying for an internship just to get your foot in the door at your dream company. It's not the final goal, but it's a smart first step. It's like holding a door open with your foot. Once it's open, you can go further in. Hit the ground running. Hit the ground running means to start something quickly and confidently. For example, she hit the ground running on her first day and finished 3 tasks before lunch. Or when you move to a new city, we hit the ground running, exploring, and meeting people on day 1. Get a load of this. All right, next phrase, get a load of this. This is a casual phrase you use when you want to get someone's attention because you're about to share something surprising, interesting, or unbelievable. It's like saying, "Listen to this," or "Check this out." So you use it to introduce something noteworthy or unexpected that you're about to tell someone. It's a way to prepare someone for a piece of news or information that might be a bit shocking or very amusing. For example, I was walking home today and get a load of this. A cat was riding on the back of a dog. Or, you won't believe what happened at work today. Get a load of this? They completely changed the meeting schedule at the last minute. It's a fun way to start a story or share something surprising. Call it even next. We have call it even. This means to agree that no one owes anything to the other person, usually after a small debt or favor. It's about balancing things out so that neither person has an advantage or disadvantage over the other. So it's like saying, no one owes anyone anything. You use it to settle a small balance. For example, if you bought coffee yesterday and I buy it today, you might say, let's call it even. Or, you helped me move furniture last week and I just helped you with your garden. Let's call it even. It's a friendly way to balance out small favors or debts. You win some, you lose some. Now we have you win some, you lose some. This is a phrase we use to accept that life has both successes and failures, and you can't always win every time. It's about acknowledging that things don't always go your way. It's a way to express a philosophical or realistic view about life's ups and downs. It helps you accept setbacks without too much disappointment. So, if you try something new and it doesn't work out, you might just say, you win some, you lose some. It's a phrase for showing resilience and a healthy perspective. Or, I really wanted that promotion, but I didn't get it this time. Oh, well, you win some, you lose some. Pull an all-nighter next, we have pull an all-nighter. I'm sure a lot of students have experienced this. pull an all-nighter means you stayed up all night, usually working, studying, or getting something done. Like, I pulled an all-nighter to finish my assignment, or he pulled an all-nighter before the big exam. It's not healthy, but sometimes we do it anyway. Elephant in the room. Sometimes there's an elephant in the room. Elephant in the room means there's a big problem or uncomfortable topic that everyone knows about, but no one wants to talk about. Like at a family dinner, your cousin just lost his job, but everyone acts normal. That awkward silence, that's the elephant in the room. Or at work, the team is upset about the changes. It's the elephant in the room. You can use this when something important is being ignored. For example, are we really not going to talk about the client canceling? Yeah, that's the elephant in the room. Light at the end of the tunnel. Our next phrase is comforting, light at the end of the tunnel. It means you can finally see things getting better after a hard time, like working on a long, stressful project. When things improve, you see that light. Or recovering from an illness. I've been sick for weeks, but now there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's often used to give people hope. Chew the fat. Did you get a chance to just chew the fat with anyone this weekend? And just to be clear, nobody's eating fat here. This phrase means having a long, casual chat, like when friends sit and talk about anything and everything. For example, we stayed up late chewing the fat about childhood memories and random stuff. Or after the meeting, we chewed the fat about weekend plans. Just small talk, nothing serious. It's great for describing those slow, easy conversations with people you're comfortable with. Time flies. When you're having fun, can you believe we've already discussed so many phrases? Time flies when you're having fun, right? Time flies when you're having fun. This means fun moments always feel short. For example, we talked for hours, it felt like minutes. Or during a trip, the vacation ended too soon. Time really flew. Take a leap of faith. All right, next phrase is take a leap of faith. This phrase means to do something important or difficult, even if you're not sure about the outcome because you believe it will be good or right. It's like making a big decision or taking a big step when you don't have all the answers. It often involves taking a risk, but it's a risk you feel is necessary or important. It's about having courage and trusting the process. For example, if someone is thinking about starting a new business but is worried about the future, you might tell them, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and believe in your idea. Or she decided to quit her old job and move to a new city without a job waiting for her. It was a real leap of faith. Go figure next up, go figure. This is a casual phrase we use when we're talking about something that is surprising, puzzling, or ironic. It's like saying, "Isn't that strange?" Or, "Can you believe that?" So it's often used when something happens that doesn't quite make sense, or it's just unexpected. It expresses mild surprise or sometimes a bit of resignation to something odd. You use it when something seems illogical or hard to explain. For instance, I studied all night for the exam, but I still got a low score. My friend didn't study at all and got an A. Go figure. That's a classic example. It's used when something seems unfair or just plain weird. lost for words. Next up, we have lost for words. This is a phrase we use when we are so surprised, shocked, or overwhelmed by something that we can't think of anything to say. It's like being speechless. It implies a temporary inability to speak because your emotions or the situation has left you without anything to say. For example, when she won the award, she was completely lost for words. This means that she was so overwhelmed with emotion that she couldn't speak. Or, when I saw the damage to my car, I was lost for words. In this case, it's a feeling of shock. Spill the tea. Okay, let's start with a fun one. Spill the tea. You might hear this phrase quite often. If you think about it literally, it just sounds like a mess in the kitchen. But this phrase doesn't mean dropping your drink. Spill the tea means to share gossip or tell a secret. It's a slang phrase and many people use it. Here's an example. Your friend says, "Did you hear what happened yesterday?" Spill the tea. That simply means, tell me what happened. Or at work, the manager spilled the tea about the new project. That means the manager shared some secret information. Remember, tea in this phrase means gossip or information. So when someone says spill the tea, they want the story. Uh, when pigs fly. Our next phrase is when pigs fly. Do pigs fly? No, of course not, unless it's a cartoon. This phrase means something will never happen. It's a fun way to say that's impossible. For example, you might say, he'll admit he was wrong when pigs fly. You can use this when you are sure something won't happen. It's a funny way to say no chance. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Our next phrase is wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf in sheep's clothing is someone who pretends to be kind or safe but really isn't. It's from an old story about a wolf hiding in a sheep's skin to trick others. Like a coworker who acts nice but then blames you for mistakes. That's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Or, that message looked real, but it was a wolf in sheep's clothing. It was a scam. This phrase helps you describe situations where someone hides their true intentions. Burning bridges. Next phrase, burning bridges. Burning bridges means ending a relationship or opportunity in a way that you can't fix later. If you leave a job and shout at your boss you've burned that bridge, you probably can't go back. Or, she burned bridges with her friend by sharing private messages. The trust is gone. It's used when someone acts without thinking and damages something important. Rule of thumb. Next up, rule of thumb. It means a simple guideline that works most of the time. It's a phrase for practical tips. It's great when you want to give helpful advice without sounding too strict. For example, a good rule of thumb is to save 10% of your income. Or, as a rule of thumb, I don't drink coffee after 4 p.m. It's not a strict rule, just advice that usually works. Sharp as a tack, okay. Next phrase. Sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack means very smart or quick to understand things. For example, my nephew is sharp as a tack. He finished the puzzle in minutes. Or, the new intern is sharp as a tack. She picks things up really fast. It's a friendly compliment. You can use it when someone is clever, quick, or just really good at thinking on their feet. Get cold feet. All right, next phrase. Get cold feet. It sounds funny, but it means feeling nervous at the last minute, especially before doing something big. like before a speech or an interview or even a trip. You might say, I was excited at first, but I got cold feet right before going on stage. Or he planned to move abroad, but he got cold feet and canceled everything. It's not about being afraid of everything, just that moment when you suddenly feel unsure. Use this phrase when nerves take over, even if you were confident before. In hot water. Next phrase, in hot water. In hot water means being in trouble, usually because of something you did. Like if you forget your homework, your teacher might say, You're in hot water this time. Or, He's in hot water with his boss for missing the meeting. So it's about being in a difficult situation. Use it when someone's facing consequences for their actions. Out of the loop. Our next phrase is out of the loop. Like if your friends made weekend plans and forgot to tell you, you could say, I feel out of the loop. It's a casual way to say you've missed information or weren't included. Or at work, I didn't get that email. Am I out of the loop again? Use this phrase when you're feeling left out, not in a dramatic way, just honest. Go down in flames. Next, we have go down in flames. It means failing badly and publicly, especially after high hopes. It paints a strong picture. Failure that's loud and noticeable. For example, they launched their app with big dreams and it went down in flames. Or the team made the finals but totally went down in flames. Walk on eggshells. Next up, we have walk on eggshells. Ever feel like one wrong move will upset someone? That's walking on eggshells. It means being extra careful not to make things worse, especially around someone moody or sensitive. For example, since the argument, I've been walking on eggshells around him. Or everyone's walking on eggshells at work after the new manager started. It's about being extra careful to avoid upsetting someone. Mind your own business. Next phrase, mind your own business. It means don't get involved in things that aren't about you. It's a way to say, that's not your concern. For example, if you asked about someone's fight with their best friend and they said, mind your own business. Or at work, he always comments on what others are doing. He should really mind his own business. It just reminds people to respect others' space. Blow off steam. Ever feel so tense you just need to blow off steam? Oh, all the time. Blow off steam means letting out built up stress or frustration, usually in a healthy way. For example, after a long day, I blow off steam by going for a run. Or, I need to blow off steam, want to grab coffee and vent a little. It's about not letting stress pile up. Rome wasn't built in a day. Our next phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. This phrase is a really good reminder. It means big goals take time and effort. Progress isn't instant. Like with English, you won't be fluent overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. The same goes for fitness or learning any skill. It takes patience. In short, Rome wasn't built in a day, which means progress takes time. And that wraps up another episode of English in Moments. I truly hope you found today's deep dive into everyday English phrases useful and inspiring for your language journey. Remember, consistent practice is key, and every phrase you learn brings you closer to sounding more natural and confident. Which of these expressions resonated most with you today? I'd love to hear your thoughts. and what phrases you're excited to incorporate into your conversations. Please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to English in Moments wherever you listen to podcasts for more practical tips, engaging lessons, and exciting ways to boost your English communication skills. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep practicing, keep growing, and take care, everyone.